Good morning and welcome back to Lost for Words with Lori. It is Monday. It is Monday. It is the 19th of December and Christmas and Yule is upon us. So I hope everybody is doing well. It has been quite a while since I have spoken with all you lovely people. I've just been really busy with work, and we had a holiday party, and just trying to get my house in order because it's messy and it needed to be cleaned, and just navigating, December really, and trying to stay in my lane and do what I do. So I hope everyone is healthy and happy and getting ready for whatever kind of holiday celebration that you do in your homes, in your towns, in your cities, and in your countries. So like I said, Christmas is upon us, so we've talked a little bit lately about surviving the holidays and the mental health issues that go along with depression and spending time alone if you don't have family or holidays. I apologize for my bird. He is molting and making lots of noise. But that's kind of how it goes here. So, we've done a lot of deep diving into emotional and mental health when it comes to surviving holidays and other events, especially when you go through, traumatic experiences, losing family members, being alone, those first year milestones that people struggle with. And, this is my second holiday season without Toby. And I'm navigating it pretty well. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. There's still that sadness underlying, but it's not anything that I find to be very debilitating. I have therapy today, actually, and, just continuing to work on my journey and work on myself. And in the process of just being busy and doing life and trying to figure out where I fit into, this toxic cesspool world in the sky, right? The interwebs and just my friends in general. I try really hard to just keep doing me, not get sucked up into other people's dramas and other people's issues. And, that's very difficult to do when you are all over social media and you have friends from different communities and you have friends that are very different and have very different personalities. And there's always going to be conflict, and there's always going to be drama. There's always going to be people who have issues. Even if there was no social media, there's going to be people who have struggles, right? And whether you're friends with them or not, or, people will always know somebody who's got some kind of issue. But how we navigate that says a lot about our character. And, I've spent a year or more, just a little over a year, observing all of this behavior on the internet and between people and making new friends and losing friends due to, my boundaries and what my expectations are and their behavior that encompasses things that I just don't tolerate. And it's interesting when you try to navigate social media and friendships and conflicts, how much you learn not only about other people, but also about yourself. And, I've had some really deep conversations with a lot of really good people, and trying to get to the bottom of why people do react or, do act the way that they do, and try to figure out, how to navigate your own life in the process of that. And it's interesting to learn. Every time I have a great conversation with somebody, I learn even more about myself. Whether it's accepting that I've basically accomplished what I have and I'm not living in trauma responses anymore, or, just what my boundaries are, and people understanding that your boundaries are allowed to change. You're allowed to change your mind, people. You're allowed to stop proliferating in drama. You're allowed to stop creating chaos in your life and look inward and fix the things that you carry and that you keep repeating in the behaviors that you do. And I'm a prime example of that. I spent most of my life in crisis mode, fixing issues and fixing other people. And then when that disappeared, I had a new problem to solve. And if I don't solve the problem, then I don't have anything to excuse my bad behavior. And, I've been doing some deep diving into, narcissism and sociopaths and navigating that world, because I experienced those kinds of people in my first world years ago, but I've never been so overwhelmed with the amount of sheer people on social media who consistently live in their own trauma responses and treat people poorly because of it. And, defining, what those kinds of behaviors are like. I'm not a professional. There's my disclaimer. I've never claimed to be a professional, but I do believe that life experience gives us enough wisdom that we can share it with others, give them better advice, give them better ideas on how to navigate their life and make it better, and not continue to cycle in self-destruction. And some people are going to listen, and they're going to understand, and they're going to practice and try new things to make their lives better. And other people are very invested in living in their victim crisis mode to the point where they don't know how to get out. And they're just kind of following along and going through the motions of life and wondering why they aren't succeeding, why they aren't getting better, why they aren't changing and growing for the better. It's a choice, people. You have to want to get better. You have to want to fix and change your situation, but nobody's going to be able to do it for you. And I see so many people on social media who think that if they reach out to all these people and they associate themselves with this and they get involved in that and they do drama, that they're going to be successful in forgetting about their first world responsibilities of having to do the hard shadow work and do the hard looking inward to change the behaviors that create your own self-destruction. And I think for me, because I have been working so hard on being the best version of me and getting over my past traumas and dealing with the personal trauma that, the tragic event of losing Toby, and navigating friendships in the midst of that, and learning that I am allowed to have boundaries that are solid and not accept people to use me as a scapegoat or a doormat, that I have less tolerance for the people who don't. And I have less tolerance for people who keep pushing at my boundaries, expecting a different result. And eventually you learn that those people are damaged, they're broken, but you can't fix them. I mean, you can hold people's hands as they try to navigate their own path. But at the end of the day, they are responsible for their own failure, their own success, their own accountability for their behavior. And you don't have to own any of that. You own what you can control only. And you can make the best life that you want for yourself. I've found that there are, some truths. The truths being that everybody makes mistakes. We're all human. We all scorekeep and gatekeep and do all of the things to be defensive, to try to be escaping accountability for our behavior. And it's okay that we're human and we make mistakes, but if people want to continue to dodge responsibility for their behavior by making it somebody else's fault, or by trying to justify their behavior because of their trauma, again, that's a them problem. You can't excuse behavior based on your own brokenness. And I see that happening with a lot of people. Yeah, it explains why we do the things that we do, but if we continue to develop patterns of behavior that are because of that, then the next logical step is to fix the original problem, right? If you go to the doctor and he says, you got a broken rib, you don't go out and go rowing and running and jogging and jumping around, on a trampoline. You have to sit still and fix the broken rib. And a lot of people's behavior is like that broken rib. They just keep re-injuring it because they refuse to sit still and take a look at the root problem of fixing the problem in the first place. And what's going to happen if you have an injured body part and you go out and continue to do activity that you know is going to aggravate it? it's never going to heal itself. And that's the way I feel about people who keep living in trauma responses, in drama, in shit starting, in all of the stuff that's going on. Sometimes you have to step back and take a break and really deep dive into the root cause of why. I hear a lot of people go, well, why has this always happened to me? Sorry, people, you got to look in the mirror. If it keeps happening to you, you might be the problem. You might be the one who's causing your own self-destruction by your behavior, by your mindset, by the fact that you're a victim or you don't want to look at the truth for what it is. And honestly, I can care about people so much and try to give them a better perspective, a different perspective, and let them choose to make better choices in their life. And that's great, and I can cheerlead that, and I can be happy for them. But at the end of the day, I can also be very disappointed when people refuse to stop and take a hard look at themselves. And I'm my own worst critic. I criticize all of my behavior. I criticize all of my motives. I criticize myself to a fault, to the point where, for many years, my self-esteem and confidence was garbage. But it wasn't a false sense of me. I didn't pretend that I was better than everyone else or act like my shit didn't stink as a false sense of security because I was afraid to face the failures or the things that I needed to fix. And once I was able to really step back and accept that I'm truly alone and that I really need to work on and fix myself, get over my past traumas, listen to my heart, work on the things that are holding me back, was I able to slip out of that cycle of self-destruction and get back into a healthier mindset of what serves me. Because I'm all by myself, and even if I didn't, even if I had people around me or a partner or anyone else, it's always important to take a look at your place and what it is that your boundaries and expectations are, but also to compromise with other people. Because just because I have boundaries and other people are struggling and working on their things doesn't mean that we cannot be friends. It just means that if I'm having a particularly bad day and I'm struggling, that I know myself well enough to know that I'm not good company and I need to avoid people that I'm close to. But at the end of the day, the holidays are hard. Life is hard. Things are going to be difficult. We just need to navigate it the best way that we can. I love you guys. I hope you all have a fantastic Yule, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And just wash your hands. Wash your fucking hands, right? And be a good human. I love you guys.